Greetings, love warriors. Greetings, love icons. How's everyone tonight? Y'all, we have such a juicy topic. Such a juicy topic. Ladies, y'all know what to do. Take your bra off. Go ahead and toss that bra. Relax. Get into it. Settle in. And get ready for this conversation, fellas. Sit back, tune in, do what you do to make yourself comfortable. Somebody's got to tell me, what do guys do? I always picture like Al Bundy, how Al Bundy used to unbutton the top button of his pants and just put his hand in his pants and sit there and watch TV, watch Psycho Dad. Do y'all remember that show? What was Married with Children? He would relax and watch an episode of Psycho Dad with his hand in his pants. That's what I think of. I don't know. I pray everyone is well tonight. Greetings, Zena. Greetings to all of my light beings. Greetings to the way showers. Greetings to the star seeds. Y'all, we got a dope topic tonight. What if everything is here to help you? That is the title for the show tonight. What if everything is here to help you? Now I'm going to show you how everything is here to help you. This is a very powerful topic. This is a game changer. If you can tap in, tune in, and embrace this, this is a way of thinking, a method of approaching life. Before we get into that, I want to really quickly introduce myself. I am Pangea Northstar. I am a sound therapist, a Reiki healer, an empath, a teacher, an attraction coach. And attraction coaching is actually what we do here on this segment, which I like to call Attracting Love Energy. And the intention for this segment is to bring your attention to the many ways that you can attract love energy into your life for the purposes of healing, abundance, self-acceptance, forgiveness, right? Many things that love energy is here to provide. It's a very sustenance, that keeps us here is love energy. So, and I'm talking about love of all kinds: compassionate love, humanitarian love, friendship, familial, and last but certainly not least, romantic love, right? Romantic love is everything. Romantic love is juicy. It's juicy. And maybe if you're feeling a little scarred right now and not really, digging the idea, that's okay. Keep healing. Keep healing. Keep working on you. Keep focusing on you. And that idea will become attractive to you again. Thank you. Somebody says, I like your nails. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, listen, fall's here for me. I'm about it right now. I'm ready for the fall. It was ridiculously hot. I'm in Tennessee, and it was ridiculously hot. So I was like, listen, let me help fall along. Okay, so everything is actually here to help you. Okay, and that is what we're talking about tonight. All right, everything is actually here to help you. All right, and if you allow yourself to expand into the love energy that is here for you, it will help you to see this concept. Okay, so if you're able to tap in, let's drop in to our heart space tonight before we even just get the conversation started. Let's everybody take some deep breaths. And let's focus on our heart space for just a moment and think of what is a type of love that has made a difference for you over the last week. Okay. Was it the love of a friend? The love of a parent? The love of a pet? I've got my beautiful baby Max here with me. Was it the love of a child? The love of a friendly neighbor that maybe just called just to say, hey, you got, there's a package on your porch, you want me to get that for you? Friendliness, compassion. Zena says, my pet. Yes. Somebody else. What type of love has made a difference for you over the last week? Was it the love that you exhibit for yourself? Creating love experiences for yourself, internal experiences of love is so important. So important. When you make decisions based on what will serve your highest good, you are exhibiting love for yourself, right? And when we create internal love experiences, it does a couple things for you. One thing is it protects you from other people being able to approach you with like fake love, right? And being able to deceive you with the appearance or the promise of love, because that will feel strange and unfamiliar to you, right? When you create these internal love experiences for yourself, that becomes a familiar space for you. And when people come to you with fake love, you're like, I've been loved. I know what that feels like, and this ain't it, right? But it also helps you to attract even more love into your life. Why? Because we are always attracting frequencies or vibrations that match our vibration. And what determines our vibration? Our emotions. Okay? So now that we've tapped in and tuned in and thought about what type of love has made a difference for us over the last week, from that space, let's explore this idea, okay? That everything is here to help us, okay? And one type of love that I'm thinking about right now is just the love experience that I'm having with Source, right? The love experience that I had with Source before I came here to the earth realm, as well as the daily love experiences that I have with Source. I make time in my day, each day, to tap in and tune in with that. By, when I wake up, the first way I do it is just waking up in the morning before starting my day, before turning on the phone or getting up and doing anything. I force myself to sit there and think of at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. And gratitude takes you there. Gratitude raises your vibration. Gratitude is a higher vibration than love. Okay? Some say love is the highest vibration. It's not exactly accurate if you go by what's known as the Hawkins chart. The Hawkins chart of emotions. I encourage everybody to look that up. It's very, very enlightening. It's a system by which each emotion is given a vibration, a frequency, a measurement in hertz. Okay? That's one of the many tools that we use in some of my classes. So anyways, everything is here to help you. And I know it does not feel like it. It does not seem like it. We got all this, craziness going on. I mean, like the economy is really weird right now. We've got all this drama surrounding the residential selection. I'm going to use that term. Those that are here in the States, you know what I mean. The residential selection coming up here in November. Also, just a lot of unfortunate stuff in the media. I'm not going to name any names, but, kind of stars getting exposed for all manner of evil and ugliness. And then we have our personal challenges happen in our personal lives. But all of these things are actually here to help us, to wake us up, to shake us into some realization, right? And I can distinctly remember when I realized that and accepted that, my first prayer was, let me become the person that does not have to suffer in order to learn. You know, greetings, Blue Lotus. Blue Lotus. Um, Somebody's asking where I'm from. I'm from Tennessee. I am in the United States. I'm from Tennessee. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so that was my prayer. Like, let me become that person that can learn from blessings, that can learn through blessings and learn through ease rather than suffering. Let me become that person that doesn't have to learn from suffering all the time. Right? So, but it had to be a sincere prayer, right? It was a sincere thought. It's like, let me go ahead and just like catch the signs and submit without having to be put through suffering all the time in order to learn, you know? So, what are some of the things that's here to help you? What comes to mind when I say that? Somebody put some things in the chat. What are some of the things that come to mind right away? I'm going to name some things. I'm going to go down a list, but I want to know what comes to you all's mind when you hear that. What in your life are you like, ooh, Lord, this is, maybe unpleasant. Or you may be at a point where you are experiencing mostly pleasant things or all pleasant things in order to learn from, right? I'm at a place where I'm experiencing mostly pleasant things, but it's not all pleasant things. I'm not there yet, you know? Every now and then, I still suffer in my emotions. I had a moment today and I had a very dear friend come scoop me up and be like, let's talk about it. Because sometimes there's a little suffering in your emotions. And then you learn to say, oh, okay, I think I'm done suffering with that. I'm going to focus on this part of it now, the good part of it. I'm going to focus on gratitude for the lesson right now, because I'm done suffering with this, So what are some of the things that you all experienced? What comes to mind? You can tell me now, or you can tell me during, throughout. As I see things like that pop up in the chat, then I'll mention it. So one of the things that is on my mind that I hear many, many people talk about, that's a great source of pain, but it's actually here to help you. And one of those things is, what if you have a challenging relationship with a narcissistic parent, right? What if you had a narcissistic parent? What if both your parents were narcissists, right? Or any challenging relationship, with a parent is here to help you, right? It's here to do a few different things depending on, the shape of your parents' narcissism, how it played out in your life. It can teach you a lot about your ability to have compassion. And this one was not in my notes, guys. This is just like coming through fresh off the press. Your ability to have compassion, right? If you have a narcissistic parent and you're like, oh, I love this parent, but man, they are difficult. They are constantly, bringing drama into my life. They're constantly trying to manipulate and control me. They're bullying me. They are totally consumed with themselves, totally so involved in their life that they have absolutely no clue on how to be there, and support you, like for your needs, for growth, from a parent perspective, right? They're too involved in their own drama in their own life. They were too, into themselves and their own issues to really be there for you as a parent, to guide you, right? Sometimes it's narcissism. Sometimes it's just that they don't know. But sometimes it's that they're not trying because they're just too self-involved, right? it pushes you deeper into your own compassion, because it's very difficult. It takes a lot. It takes for a parent to do a lot for you to push them away and totally push them out of your lives, right? And there's only few cases, it's not very common, I guess I'm trying to say, for a person to be like, I'm absolutely done with that parent. I cannot have any contact with them. It's just not healthy for me to have absolutely any contact. So from now to the day they die or I die, it's done. I'm not having any contact with them, right? What happens in most cases, more often than not, is that you learn to feed them with a long handled spoon. That's a term we say here in the South. I don't know. That's a universal term, or a term that we use all over the States. But that means you learn how to keep them around and only share certain parts of your life with them. Right? You learn how to only share what's safe of yourself with them, which may be very, very little. You learn how to manage that relationship, because you can't just cut it off and do away with them, right? Sometimes it's necessary. If a parent is like super abusive, this is not to shame anybody that has had to completely cut off a parent. My heart really goes out to you if that's the case. And I can only imagine how painful that has been, right? But what happens for most people is that we learn how to kind of distance ourselves, right? You only do what's safe in terms of emotional safety, interaction with them. So that pushes you deep into your compassion. In order to forgive them, you have to begin, to see them as the hurt child, right? The hurt child that they were and are, right? That's one thing, a skill that I learned is seeing my narcissistic parent as a hurt child, and to know, hey, when they are acting out, this is their hurt child showing up, and that's all it is. And that I have that helps me to stay in a place of compassion for them, right? It also, people like that are in your life, that have a role in your life, and it could also be a child. If you have a child that is highly manipulative, it doesn't matter if it's an underage child or an adult child that is highly manipulative, and you know this, and wants to keep you, use your emotions against you. This happens. People are living with this. Okay? Having people in your life that you have to interact with, but that are not here in support of your highest good, makes you nimble. It makes you nimble. It makes you quick. It causes you to sharpen your weapons of intuition. It causes you to sharpen your gifts, because you have to keep an eye on what's happening at all times when you're in interaction with that person. And for empaths, that can be a very painful situation to be in, because we really want to vibe with people and bond with people, and we want to create loving spaces for people and enjoy loving spaces with people, and we want to be able to be vulnerable with people and all that kind of stuff. We want to, share our love, share our gifts, for many of us, that is our gift, our capacity to love, right? Our capacity to forgive, our capacity to hold space for people. Holding space for someone is a gift, right? And that's what we want to be able to do with people. We want to be a safe space, but we also crave to have safe spaces provided by other people. But when you have people in your life like this that's not here for your highest good, and you're like, you're like constantly dodging, You got to dodge your darts. You got to be ready to dodge a dart, depending on what day you catch them, right? It causes you to learn how to defend yourself. It causes you to learn how to be, to like anticipate what's coming next, and to be only as vulnerable as it is safe to be vulnerable, right? And I was talking about this, with someone earlier, and it actually came up in a reading for someone, that for many of us who have been traumatized at an early age, um, and we're taught not to defend ourselves, right? Taught not to listen to our intuition, taught not to speak up for ourselves, to stand up for ourselves, and things of that nature. If you are a woman that was taught that you got to be, this ride or die type of chick, and that's the definition of a good woman. If the respectful child was a silent child, if you were raised with children are seen and not heard, and things of that nature, things that require you to shrink yourself. Okay. If you were taught that being good meant being invisible and being silent, this is for you. Okay. So many times we are looking for this feeling of safety, and our subconscious definition of safety is not having to defend yourself, not having to protect yourself. Right? Because I want to be in this space where I feel totally safe. And, safe means I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to protect myself. I'm here to tell you that ain't it. Okay? That ain't it. All right? For most of your life in this realm, most of your existence in this realm, until we ascend, until there's a group ascension, a mass ascension, right? Being safe means trusting your ability to protect yourself, which largely is dependent upon following your intuition. It's largely dependent upon you following your intuition. I'm going to say that again. Being safe does not mean not having to defend yourself or not having to protect yourself. Being safe, feeling safety, trusting that you are safe, means trusting in your ability and developing your ability to defend yourself, which is largely dependent upon being in tune with your intuition. Your intuition is here to keep you safe. So anyone that's teaching you or telling you, discouraging you from following your intuition is not here for your safety. Your safety is not a priority to them. And that's the one you need to be watching. Okay? So let's get that out of our minds, that being safe means we don't have to protect ourselves. We're just going to leave ourselves completely open and unguarded and not, defend and protect and, watch out for ourselves. It's your responsibility to protect yourself, right? In every way. Financially, right? Protecting yourself financially, protecting yourself physically, emotionally, your sexual health. You don't leave these things to anybody else, right? These are your responsibilities, not even your partner's responsibility. It's your responsibility, right? These things are our responsibility because we're here as adults at this point. The ways in which your partner takes care of you should not be as if you were their child. Okay. So another thing that's here to help us, I'm going to go ahead and throw in planetary alignments. Since there's so much talk about this second moon, right? It's been, framed as, our minds have been prepared that, there's a second moon. This is a broken off piece of an asteroid from everything I've read on it says it could fit right here in my living room. So I would, personally, I wouldn't really, call that a moon, But for whatever reason, that's what we've been told. We've been prepped that, hey, there's going to be a second moon in our atmosphere for 60 days. And so many people have gone into this fear mongering about it. Oh, it's going to unleash chaotic energy and it's going to do this and it's going to do that. What if it does something wonderful? Even if it's nothing more than for you to realize that all the fear mongering was for nothing. And that every time something new appears, it's not for you to be afraid. People act the same way, act really crazy about Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde happens all the time. Every time there's a major eclipse, oh, it's going to be, it's going to, this bad, that bad, oh, this is. And the next morning, crickets. Right? Crickets. Why do we automatically go to fear when something new and different happens? Why not assume that this is here to help you and that there is something positive that will be amplified in your life? Because wherever you place your attention, that is what will be amplified in your life by any occurrence. Anything that appears in your life, anything that appears in your reality is here to help you. And if you place your focus on how is this thing here to help me, what is it teaching me, what is it reflecting back to me about me, then that is ultimately the experience you will have. Okay? So we got to get out of this constant fear state, this constant cycle of fear. There are so many alarmists, and some of them are spiritual teachers that are alarmists and contrarians. An alarmist is just someone that's here to just keep you all hyped up and scared up all the time, right? And you got the contrarians that are just here just to disagree with what everybody else says, and that's just their thing. It doesn't matter if it really makes sense, if there's any proof behind that, or whatever. But it's just, as long as I'm saying the opposite of what everybody else is saying, because that's my thing, that's what I do. I just disagree. No, that's not science. That is not science, right? That's what Erica Badu said on New America. That's not science. And Stevie Wonder says, when you believe in things that you don't understand, you will suffer. Right? Greetings, Dabney. Greetings, Blue Lotus. Blue Lotus says, yes, I've been consciously working on reframing. Very good. Very good. Very good. There are things that I had to, lots of things, in my mind, I've had to rewrite. Just literally rewrite. Like, hey, I've been telling myself this story. Well, you know what? Wow. This alternate truth is also true. This is also true, right? I could tell myself that for a long time, when I was younger, I used to tell myself that my family, my extended family and stuff just didn't like me, and just that I just didn't fit in, that they just didn't care for me and all this stuff because I wasn't close with my extended family. And then when I started learning how to rewrite things for myself and exploring alternate truths, I rewrote that story for myself, and I learned that, well, my dad was in the Army. We were traveling, we were overseas for a good part of my childhood. My family don't know me like they all know each other. All my extended cousins, and they grew up together. They know each other in a way that they don't know me. And that's all it is. And I'm a type of person, this is how my personality is, and my close friends know this. It ain't but a couple of people that I talk to like every day, all the time, even every week. But I have groups of close friends that I may not talk to for weeks. But if they called me in the middle of the night at 3:00 in the morning, I would be right there. It wouldn't matter what the situation is. I'm Johnny on the spot. because that's the type of friend that I am. I'm not gonna stay on the phone with you for hours. If I stay on the phone with somebody for a long time, that's a rare occasion. That's rare for me. Right? So I'm the same way with my family. I'm not the one that's gonna call you all the time. But if you need me, I'll be there. Sure will. So to rewrite and reframe that for myself. Okay, so that's a skill you guys should pick up. Rewrite some of these negative narratives that you're telling yourself. Another thing that is here for you to help you, right, is shadow beings. Shadow beings. What do I mean by shadow beings? Shadow beings, a shadow being is someone who prefers to do things in the dark. A shadow being is a person. I'm talking about people now. There are different types of shadow beings, but I'm talking about people right now. Are people who prefer to operate in the dark. They do not want you to see all of them. Therefore, they tend to be dishonest, or they tend to be closed off rather than being open. Right? So they're not honest, they're not open. And then you may have some more advanced shadow beings that are honest but aren't open. And what do I mean by that? If a person is honest but not open, if I ask you enough questions or ask you the right questions, you'll come out with the truth eventually. But I gotta keep digging and gotta, you're not free with the truth. Right? So then you got some that's really open, but they're not honest. So they'll tell you a lot about themselves, but they're framing it, in a way that's advantageous for them. So they appear to be open, they appear to be honest, but they're not. Right? Whereas if you're a light being, you're a being that prefers to operate in the light, I should say. You prefer to put everything on the table. You prefer to be honest. You're very open. And you're not, hiding your hand, as they say. Right? I'm the type of person I prefer to operate in the light. What you see is what you get with me. I'm blunt, I'm honest, I'm open. All right. But a lot of people are just not comfortable there. They're not comfortable in the light. They don't want you to see all of them, and they do not want to see all of themselves. These are typically people that's dealing with a lot of shame, low self-confidence, lack of self-love, right? These people. And it's very easy when we come in contact with these people. If you're a person that prefers to operate in the light, it is easy to take this personal, right? However, a great point, and I'm gonna give you a quote because I can, and I love to credit people with their ideas. I learned there's a tarot card deck that I use by Abiola Abrams. It's called African Goddess Rising. I highly recommend it. She talks about in a segment of the book talking about the Temple of Shadows, that our shadows hold some of our greatest lessons, right? Our shadows hold our greatest lessons. So many of us have heard of shadow work, but I'll describe shadow work just for those who have not or don't understand what shadow work is. Shadow work is when you are working on things that are beneath the surface, that are not obvious flaws to others, or not even obvious to you, but this is a flaw of yours, right? These are things that are deep beneath the surface, things that you could hide from if you want to. If you wanted to go the rest of your life and never correct this, you could, because other people don't see it. It's not on the surface. It's not easily detectable, right? But these are your dark shadows. These are things that most of the time are stemming from early childhood, right? But things about yourself that you could hide if you wanted to. But you choose to dig these things up in order to work on perfecting yourself, becoming a self-realized human being. right? So these are really, really deep issues that you decide to unearth. These issues hold your greatest lessons. So these shadow beings that appear to you in your life, you're going to deal with a lot of this in dating. If you have shadows that need to be unearthed, that need some light shine on them, right? You're going to be attracting shadow beings that are here to show you your shadows. They are here to reflect something to you about yourself that you need to learn, right? So, a great example of this is something I talked about several weeks back, is that I dated someone that was here in my life to help me work out some issues that stemmed from my relationship with my father. And my relationship with my father set some patterns in motion for me. These patterns played out in who I chose to date. It played out in my relationships, right? But once I dated this person, had a wonderful love experience with this person, and it wasn't all wonderful. There were some very painful parts to it, but I now call it wonderful because of the beautiful lessons that I learned when I realized, this person is here to shed light on my shadows, on some very dark things that I've been hiding from. And one of the major ways that we hide is blaming other people. When something goes wrong, oh, that person, they did this to me, playing the victim. Oh, this person, they misled me, they deceived me, they, told me this when it was really that. Well, they may not have told you, but didn't you know? Somewhere within yourself, you knew that that wasn't true. That person was just telling you what they were telling themselves in order to be able to live with themselves. Sometimes we're expecting people to admit truths to us that they haven't admitted to themselves. Right? But sometimes somebody's telling you something and you get a feeling in the pit of your stomach like, that's not exactly true. Something about that don't sound right. But you want it to be true so bad. You need that to be true. So you roll with it. Most of us have done this. We've all done this if we're being honest, right? If that resonates, somebody give me some hearts in the chat, right? You've allowed yourself to believe something that didn't quite sound right because you wanted it to be true. Shadow beings. They're here to show us something about ourselves. Yes, thank you for those hearts in the chat. They're here to show us some things about ourselves, right? If you keep on attracting people that are not quite honest about who they are, they're not being upfront about who they are. They appear this way, but then as you get to know them, you're like, wait a minute, you appear like this, but you are actually this you're over here. You didn't tell me this, because you knew that was not acceptable. You knew that, you appear to be this way because you know what's acceptable to society is this over here. So you appear this way, but you're actually, in reality, your personality, you're more like this type of person. If you're having those experiences over and over again, ask yourself, where are you not being genuine and honest with yourself about who you are? Where are you trying to fit into who society says that you should be? There may be something that you desire that's not in alignment with what's acceptable in society or with your family, the way you were raised, right? Your system of beliefs, the values you were raised to hold. Where are you misrepresenting yourself? It could be that you're riding along with something, you're saying, oh, that's okay, about something that's really not okay with you, right? Or you could be saying that you disagree with something that you really don't have a personal beef with. But you've been told XYZ is wrong, so you're like vehemently against it just because you know that's the expected response. What are you hiding? Where are you hiding? And more than likely, you're hiding that thing from yourself. These are the shadows, the things we could totally get away with never correcting, and no one would know. Okay? So, let me give an example of that. Polyamorous people. Polyamorous people, right? If you're a person that has never really been like obsessed with whether or not your partner sees other people, or you're not naturally jealous, the idea, like somewhere in the back of your mind, the idea of your partner, like imagine your partner with someone else, is it's a little bit exciting, but you've been trained to be vehemently against that, and that this is just the worst thing a person can ever do, is to be with someone else. You are likely a polyamorous person, just naturally. I believe that you're either born monogamous or polyamorous, but there's a lot more polyamorous people here than what we actually see practicing polyamory, right? Monogamy is one of the programs that we are, you know, we're programmed to accept. One of the things we're programmed to accept, right? Or maybe you're a man that is not very like super aggressive, you know, and maybe you're really a good support person rather than being the person to come up with the plan all the time. But societal programming says the man is always supposed to be the leader. The man is always supposed to be out front, but maybe you're really good at supporting an ambitious woman, but you're made to feel shameful about that, right? Because you are the owner of the penis, you're told that you're supposed to always be out front. And you're supposed to be this ultra, aggressive person. Maybe that's not you. Maybe you're a peaceful warrior. Maybe you're a beautiful supporter. It's a beautiful gift to have, right? Don't live your life mixing your gifts because of what somebody told you that you aren't. What you do is find you a woman that's ambitious and has a plan, that is loving and can appreciate your support and reciprocate your support. Hello, there's nothing wrong with that. We got to do what we're here to do. We can't do what everybody else is here to do. We're not all here to follow the same plan. If that resonates, somebody give me some hearts. Okay, give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up in the chat. Okay, we're all here to live our lives differently. We don't have to live the same way that everyone else lives. There's so many people, lots of people that don't desire traditional marriage. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's not for you, please don't do it. It's not for you, please don't do it. Now, just like not everybody's here to be a parent. Some of us have some parents that wouldn't listen. Not everybody's here to be a parent. Okay, not everyone that can conceive should be parenting. Okay, and if you don't desire to, please don't. Okay. NPCs. Your NPCs are here to help you. For those who don't know what an NPC is a non-playable character. Okay, that's a term you hear very often in the conscious community. NPC, so and so's NPC, there's some NPCs. We're borrowing that phraseology from the world of gaming. Okay, if you're playing a video game, there are characters on the screen that are just like extras in a movie. Okay, there are characters in the screen that no matter what you do with your controls, you cannot control that character. You cannot play, you cannot become that person. Okay, that person is not here to make the game do what it does. They're like an extra in the scene. You know, if something happens, like say somebody throws a bomb, if you're in like some kind of war game, somebody throws a bomb and you see people running or, flying, when the bomb goes off, those are NPCs. Those programs of those characters are written to do a certain thing. They are written to run from this side of the screen to that side of the screen. They are written to go from the bottom floor of a building to the top floor of a building. They're written to go up to the top floor of a building and jump off, or dive into the ocean and get a certain thing. Like they're only programmed to do a particular thing, and that's it. That's all they're here to do. That's all they're on the screen or in the game to do. That's it. They're part of the scenery. Okay? So there are people in your life that are only here to do a specific thing. They have appeared in your reality to do a specific thing. Okay? They cannot go outside of that. Now, you have some NPCs that are written on a very simple program, and then you have some that are on a much more complex program, but they're still an NPC. They're still only here to interact with you in your life, in your reality, for a very specific reason and in a very specific way. Right? So trying to take that individual outside of what they're here for. I want you, again, stick with the idea, approach your reality with the idea that everything that appears in your reality is here to help you, right? So you don't need to try to take a person who's in your life for a certain reason and turn them into a long season or a lifetime. If you've ever heard that saying, I feel like everybody's heard it by now. People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? People that's there for a reason, that is a version of a simple NPC. They just here to teach you this and then they're gone, right? Once either that lesson has been learned or your opportunity to learn that lesson through that person has expired. Every opportunity has an expiration date. Okay? Every opportunity has an expiration date. Some of us live as though every opportunity, every offer is forever. And then we just keep playing because there's no, urgency in your life to come into self-realization. But people appear. They're only there for a reason or for a season. They're there to teach you something. And we should be about extracting that lesson from them, right? But when you try to turn that into something it's not supposed to be, it just doesn't work. And you can frustrate the heck out of yourself. And that person just be looking at you, smiling and blinking and smiling. I realized that my person that was a shadow being is also a version of an NPC. Why? Because they're just here to serve a particular purpose in my life, just for me to learn the lesson that I'm supposed to learn. Now, if I try to take that individual and try to make that my life partner, I would be extremely frustrated. Extremely frustrated. Extremely frustrated. If I try to make them fit into what I had in mind, what I have in mind, or what someone told me this should be, if I frustrate myself in that way, it would be torture. It would be torture. You will torture yourself trying to make someone who's here just to teach you a particular lesson, you try to fit them into a whole nother role that is not what they're here for. So we have to be observative. We need to depend on what? Our intuition. Tap in, tune in. And a lot of times your intuition is going to tell you something that it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. It's what you need to hear for your psychological survival, for your spiritual evolution, right? This is good stuff, you guys. It's very important. It's very important to know. You've got to be able to tell the difference between, an NPC and a program, or like a person that's actually here to play a pivotal role in your life, and that can grow and evolve beyond this particular reason or purpose in your life. Okay? If that resonates with you, give me some hearts in the chat. Okay? We've all experienced this. Like, man, met this person and I thought that they were going to be able to, like, it even happens like with friendships. Sometimes you can try to take a friendship into another part of your life. Like, say you have a friend that you think is a great person, and that, say they're about their business, that, they seem to be a responsible person, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to go into business with them. That's not why they're here in your life. They're here to be your friend for however long they're here to be your friend for. But you can't carry them into the other parts of your life. That doesn't mean that because they're great at business, that that's your business partner. Right? And not just like not everyone that you love is here to be in a relationship with you, or is here to be your partner. Not every person that you love are you gonna have is here to be your partner. They're just here for you to have a love experience with. And it doesn't mean that you're not lovable, or that they're not lovable, or that the love you experience with them, it also does not mean that that was fake. This is a really good takeaway. It does not mean that the love you experienced with that person was fake because it didn't turn into what you wanted it to, or what we've been told, what the programming says. Oh, well, we didn't get married, or we didn't, be together forever, or we didn't have children. So that means everything you experienced with them was fake. Don't do that to yourself. You're going to mess around and damage yourself, telling yourself these lies that every single thing you experienced with that person was fake, just because it didn't turn out to be what you thought it was going to be, or they didn't turn out to be who you were hoping they were, right? You probably ain't who they were hoping you were either. They were just nice enough not to tell you. But don't sit there and tell yourself that the whole experience was fake. Don't do that. You will damage yourself doing that, because then what's going to happen the next time that you meet someone that you develop feelings for, and they share that they have feelings for you, right? If you've been telling yourself that whole last experience that you thought was love was actually fake, how in the world will you trust that next experience? How will you trust your intuition that's telling you, hey, we're safe here? It's time to have a beautiful experience with this person. How will you trust that? If you've lied to yourself and told yourself that, oh, that whole thing was fake, it was all just one big deception, just because things didn't end up going the way that you hoped it would. Didn't end like a storybook romance, right? Don't do that to yourself. So I'm gonna give one more example. I'm gonna just say disappointments, right? And I'm gonna give an example of what type of disappointment. Okay. So say you're looking for a job, right? And you feel your spirit is telling you, you clearly hear spirit telling you, go apply for this job over here. Go over there, apply for that job. Right? Everything lines up for you to get the interviews, right? You feel like you're doing oh so well. You get to the first round of interviews, you get to the second round of interviews, you get to the third round of interviews. Everything's looking good, right? They're, talking about relocating you to where, an area you're interested in. Everything looks wonderful. They're talking about the salary and the type of benefits you want, right? And you like, that's right. Spirit told me to go apply for this job, and look how good it's going. I'm about to get this job. But you don't get the job. You don't even get the job. Something that you just know, like, I heard in my spirit to go apply. That's not mine. Situations like that are confusing, right? So on the average person, is going to start questioning, well, did I really hear from spirit? Like, I guess I was wrong. You know, would like just dismiss it or be totally confused. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just because you were told to go apply for the job, it don't mean you was going to get the job. Ask yourself, what did you learn in the process? What new part of yourself did you discover in the process? Perhaps you picked up some new interviewing skills. Perhaps you met some people. You did some great networking. Maybe you learned something new about how resourceful you can be to show up in the way that you showed up for those interviews, right? Go back and recount the victories in the situation. Though the ultimate goal may not have been reached, if you be sure to go back in your mind and collect those victories, right? Commit them to your memory banks, accept them in your heart. You're carrying those experiences with you that will help you to secure the job, the next best career move that is for you. It doesn't mean you didn't hear from spirit. Don't do that to yourself. You will damage yourself. Telling yourself, oh, it didn't work out the way I thought it would or where I wanted to. It must not really heard anything. That was just tripping. Don't do that. That experience was here to help you. Okay? So I want to encourage everybody, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted by all the chaos that is happening now. All of these things are here to help you. And if you stop and ask Spirit, what are these NPCs here to show me? What is this shadow being here to show me? What is this disappointment here to show me? What am I learning by navigating this relationship with this narcissistic parent or child or whatever the case may be? This person I'm stuck with, this narcissistic supervisor that likes to micromanage everything. What skills am I picking up by surviving in this terror dome till I can get out of here? Right? Ask yourself these questions. It's the quality questions. Okay? Speaking of questions, if this has sparked a thought for you and you have a question, please ask in the chat. In these last few minutes, as I wrap up, I told myself I wasn't even going to be on here this long, but that's how it happens. So you all go ahead and throw in a question if anybody has a question. You all, I want to say one thing. Normally we go into the different chakras that may be blocked, but I want to end with this thought tonight instead. Many times when we're talking about energy blockages, is normally I'll say, hey, if you're having a problem with this and that, this is reflective of a block, indicative of a blockage in this chakra or that chakra, yada yada, and we want to get rid of that. Well, you know what? We talked about shadows tonight. And our shadow self, or shadows of self, are not always something that we want to kill and get rid of. These are things we want to shine a light on, right? Get a little spiritual flashlight out, just called self-examination, accountability, right? Shed light on that thing and take that energy and transmute it. Okay? The transmutation of energy, also known as alchemy, means taking the energy, pain, conflict, right? And turning it into fuel for something positive, something that we want to accomplish, something that we want to become, something that we want to deeper explore, develop within ourselves, right? So this is something you must be very intentional about doing, But that is what I want to bring your attention to. Take that thing and turn it into determination. Determination to follow your gut, to abide by, to adhere to your intuition. So the next time that you are falling in love with someone, or next time you're building friendship with someone, the next time you're applying for a job, you're going through an interview process and something, you hear something, you see something, and it's just like, that don't feel right, that don't sound right, that don't seem right. I don't know. I'm going to, take it for what it's worth right now, but I'm going to make a mental note to myself. Make a mental note. Make a mental note of that thing. Don't ignore it because it's not what you want to hear. Take it for what it is. Make a mental note and see if you don't receive more guidance, more internal guidance about what's really going on. You make those mental notes and start to just kind of stack them off to the side. Just something you just kind of take notice of. You don't have to make a decision about it right then. But just start to see, what is this picture that's being painted for me by my intuition? What is my spirit trying to tell me that's really here beneath the surface? Right? Pay attention to that thing. Allow the challenges that have happened in your life to turn into determination to listen to your intuition the next time you get a gut feeling. Right? Think of, this severe disappointment I'm experiencing in this friendship or relationship. I don't want to put myself through this. I can see where, I did X, Y, Z. Here's my accountability in this. So let me turn this into determination to protect myself next time. Right? So that's it. That's the words I want to leave you all with tonight. Everything is here to help you. Everything is a mirror for you, reflecting you back to you. Aspects of yourself. So that's it. I'm going to close out tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in, staying tapped in. I appreciate all the love and the support in the chat tonight. We're going to be back here next Tuesday, every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Attracting Love Energy is the name of our segment. My next class, Master Your Magnetism. Let's talk about that very briefly. It's going to be October 13th. That's a Sunday, October 13th. I'm going to add the link in the description box to register for the class. The registration is open now. Master Your Magnetism is about becoming intentional with what you are attracting. As we know, the law of attraction states that we are always attracting frequencies that match our own frequency, right? So learning how to become intentional with that is a great way to greatly influence. I'm not going to use the word control, but to influence the outcomes in your life and to begin to attract the love and the life that you truly desire. Master Your Magnetism, October 13th, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's a 3-hour virtual class where we're going to be learning about how to become intentional with what you're attracting to your life. All right, you guys. Peace, love, and light. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I pray that this was helpful for everyone. And I will see you back next Tuesday. Peace.